On today's Chasing the Game, we have Clint McCormick with Dave's Running. We talk about his career in racing, the Glass City Marathon, and the new Garmin Series Marathon. Chasing the Game starts right now. Welcome into Chasing the Game. I'm here with Clint McCormick from Dave's Running. Clint, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Mercy Health Glass City Marathon coming up this weekend. Just what is it like this time of year? It's got to be pretty hectic for you.
Yeah, these are your 12 to 15 hour days, but it goes by fast. I mean, there's lots to do, lots of prep, and it's all about developing that experience to the highest degree possible for our participants who come in from all around the country and the world.
Yeah. What's it like to organize a race of this caliber? I mean, I imagine, like you said, 12 to 15 hour days. What are those days filled with? What are you doing in the lead up to this?
Right. So at this point of the juncture, it's a lot of follow-ups, making sure all the vendors have what they need from us in terms of diagrams, timelines, have we paid their bills so they show up on time, all the small things like that. We want to make sure that we are putting in the work necessary to warrant the participants' effort on race day. We want them to worry about them, not have to worry about what the fluid stations are going to have and are the course markings proper. We want to make sure that all that stuff is secondary and the runner's experience is first and foremost.
Yeah. How did you get into organizing races in the first place? Where did this all start from?
Yeah, this started in 2008. I happened to be voluntold to be the race director of this event. And we put together a plan to identify what does this event mean to the community and how do we deliver on that plan. So in 2007 and 8 time period, the Glass City Marathon, which is owned by the Toledo Romaners Club, is effectively their largest club race. It helps generate revenue for their club and their mission, but also at the time it was 700 people. So a 700-person race in this market, we felt can be done in a better way, in a different way, and that starts with attracting not only sponsors, but also charity partners.
Yeah, you and I were talking before this. You've gotten up to 8,000, 9,000 people for this race. How did you get it from 700 to 9,000? How do you do that? That's crazy.
Yeah, so I think part of it is community demand. I think this area was void of a signature event, and I think what we developed over the 5-year plan that we put together initially was how do we deliver that? And one of them was we developed the half marathon distance. It used to be a 5K, a relay, and a marathon. All right, so when we look at that in terms of taking a runner through the processes of, okay, if I'm a new runner, what are my options? Okay, great, now I do the 5K. But the 5K is great, I started doing that, what's my next option? And it was really a jump from the 5K to the marathon. And the half marathon distance in the United States was the #1 growing event. So we developed that race, we created it, and quite frankly, the first year we did it, we had no idea what we were doing. But in hindsight, it all came together quite well. Most people don't know what we had planned or hadn't planned on paper, and it was really done well. We were very happy with it. The second thing we did was put together a marketing strategy, a website, a PR team, a marketing team, basically developed a business plan. What does this look like so it's not just a local run, but how do we make this into a business type of event and treat it as such?
Yeah, I think you guys have 7,000 or something in the last few races. Mm-hmm. What's it like trying to get volunteers for this? I imagine that's got to be one of the harder parts of putting this together.
And that's one of the early things we developed was a partnership with all of our charity partners, right? So we recognize that, hey, we have an opportunity to generate revenue and goodwill for the community, and then all the people who are interested in running are going to run. How do we get people to then support them on the course? And that's where the revenue share comes into play. So we bring on charity partners. And through those charity partners, they have resources in terms of people, all right? So we bring their people in to help us support the race. Through our revenue sharing agreements, each of them then receives some of the revenue of the race. They're happy, they get the recognition, they get some funding for what their nonprofit is. And then we're happy because we have water stops filled, packet pickup people filled. All the different volunteer groups are necessary, which now exceed over 1,500 volunteers.
Yeah, for a 7,000 person race, I mean, to have 1,500 volunteers, separate from that is crazy. I mean, this is an event with literally over 10,000 people, probably all told, spectators, everything. It's become this, national caliber event. I think the way people describe it. Is that kind of the way that you were hoping that it would go, that it would become this big national event, not just big in Northwest Ohio, but big in the country? I
think early on, you don't really recognize what your potential is until it starts to happen. But I think that the approach that we put into it with the planning and the people and the processes developed us into what it has become. I don't think it was until probably 2014 or 15 that we recognized, hey, we have an opportunity here. And that's when we set our eyes on how do we take this event to not only be a regional championship race, but how do we become a national championship race? And that's where we kind of started setting that wheels, working with the Road Runners Club of America, courting their national presidents to come to our race to see it, and then say, what do we need to do to make sure that we live up to the standard of a national championship race? And we were awarded that just a few years ago. And I think being able to represent on a national scale, certainly, I believe we were able to deliver on all those aspects of taking care of the customer, but also proper brand recognition.
Yeah, you think about it in such business terms. I think people just think of it as just a race, but you think about it in this really marketing way. Was that always kind of your philosophy about it? Is we need to satisfy customers, we need to grow this, we need to market this?
Yeah. And I think that has a lot to do with how it grew and why. One of the first things we did is we created an oversight committee of business leaders in the community. Some of us happen to be runners. Most of us are in the business segment. We understand what $1 million budget looks like. When we understand what it takes to spend money to make money, right? And we weren't afraid to make those investments because we recognized what the opportunities were. And then, being mentored by other race directors throughout the region and country certainly helped us with some of the how-to and the processes of how to make sure a safe race. But things have evolved immensely from the first year we did this to where we are now, not only on just how do you do marketing, because 2009, Facebook was a new thing. Websites were, they were around, but not every race had one. The whole marketing strategy. But then onto security of the event really changed in 2013. Boston was attacked at the finish line, and now we have a whole new appreciation of runner population density and how do we protect those people. So the last 3 weeks, I spent a lot of my time with our local law enforcement, FBI, Homeland Security, EMS divisions. Okay, what do we need to do to make sure that our event is safe? Not only from the bumps and bruises, but from potentially ill intent, right? So we have a lot of processes in place that people don't know about that I spend a lot of time trying to make sure that everybody is safe.
Yeah, it's crazy when you think about it that way, that you have to talk to Homeland Security and you're a guy who organizes a race. Like, it's not just setting up cones beforehand, and it's all those things.
Yeah, I'm typically the only guy in the room without a gun, and I'm telling them what we want them to do. It is, we certainly have the inside knowledge of what is the runner movement throughout the course, what are the evacuation sites on the course, what do we feel are the susceptible areas, and then we recommend with our counterparts at Homeland Security, local law enforcement, of what that might look like and how do we secure that. It is, I'm just a local race director, right? But I think what it's grown into is more of just the local race field. This is now owned by the community, right? So we work with Mercy Health as our title sponsor for a good reason. They bring a medical director who has regional EMS division assets and responsibility and knowledge to how do we work with TFD, how do we work with Toledo Police, how do we work with all the different hospitals, and how do we put this plan together. Fortunately, we have that plan in place. Every year there's always one event that goes, wow, we never considered that or never thought about that. But the plans that we had in place were able to react and take care of those customers. 2 years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago, we had a lady running the marathon. She was, I believe, an orthopedic surgeon herself. At mile 26.1, her femur broke. Like, she was home stretch, 10th of a mile to go, broke her femur. She stops on the road, right? So we transport her. She comes back and finishes it the next year. Last year, we had a cardiac arrest at mile 5. Effectively dead on the scene, revived, transported, released from the hospital 3 days later. She's running again this year, right? So we have a lot of oh my gosh, really horrible situations that we were able to react to and have good outcomes. And I think that's through proper planning.
Yeah, wow. I mean, it's just crazy to think about some of those. I mean, those are stories in and of themselves.
Right.
You were a runner. I mean, you ran at Perrysburg back in the 90s. When did you know that you wanted to be a runner? Is that something that when you were little you wanted to do? Did you realize that you wanted to pick that up in high school? How long has that been for you?
So I started running in 7th grade, quite frankly, because I didn't make the basketball team. And the coach or the track coach or somebody said, hey, go out for track. And I just happened to be good. And then it just didn't stop.
Yeah.
So I went on to run a decent high school career. I wish I would have known a lot more now. I mean, what the high school athletes have in all sports these days in terms of information and nutrition and coaching and resources is way beyond what I ever had access to. And they're so well more prepared to take it to the next level or pursue their dreams a little bit more. I mean, mine kind of stopped because I had to choose, do I pay for living expenses and going to college, or do I keep running and take out a ton of loans, right? I didn't have much of a choice in that situation. So, you know, in some respects, I was like, man, what could I have done, right? But I think today's high school kid has so many more resources available.
Yeah, we've seen that at Perrysburg. I mean, they're state champion level cross country team, track. I mean, they're just terrific athletes over there. Yeah. So it's really incredible just to see what that program has done. Mm-hmm. How much are you running today still? Are you still doing a few miles every day? What do you do?
Not a whole lot. So usually I'm gonna call myself a fair weather runner.
Yeah.
I run and I work out basically to stay in shape to do my job.
Yeah.
Right, which is it's a heavy lift. It's a physically demanding job, but also I've got 3 young kids at home that I want to make sure that I can keep up with. So I try to relate myself more to the everyday average runner who is afraid to call themselves a runner. Yeah. Right? Like I run, but I'm not really a runner. Yes, you are. Right? You just have different motivation. Right? Some people's motivation is I want to PR at the 5K, or I want to do an Ironman, or I want to do whatever it is. I think I'm more aligned with I just want to stay in shape because it's good to be healthy, and I want to keep up with my kids and set a good role model example, right? So my running and workout routine is somewhat fair weather, meaning I don't really start running until probably next week once the marathon is done because it's just too cold outside, right? So that's what I look forward to. During the wintertime, I hit the gym a little bit more.
Yeah, John Birchfield, meteorologist for us, one of the best runners in the area that I know, certainly one of the best runners, I think, in this area.
Yep.
What's it like having a guy like him, you know, someone with notoriety like him, who's he's got to be good for the running scene, right?
Yeah, so tapping the resource of what John is doing, along with his wife, and I say that because John is in the elite space.
Yeah.
When he goes to a race, he gets the elite bib, he's at the front of pack. His approach is different to what the everyday runner is. So we're talking about elite fluid stations. They have special bottles that they can put up there in their water stops. They get special treatment. You know, he wears different shoes. His training routine is much elevated. Now his wife, she is our elite coordinator. So I get to tap all that information. So when he goes off to these other races and gets this special treatment and how do we take those experiences and bring them back to Toledo to make our race better?
Yeah. Do you think that he's qualified? Do you think he'll make the Olympics?
The Olympic trials, I think he has a really strong shot. Running a marathon at that level, you have to have a lot of things go right. And I say this carefully because I don't want to. So you have to have the proper training. You have to have the proper weather, you have to have the proper nutrition, and you have to have the proper course and competition. Everything has to line up for you to have your best race.
Yeah.
If one of those things is out of line, I think you have the potential of falling short of your capabilities.
Yeah.
If you don't have the competition there to push you, and really, most elite runners only run as fast as the second place person. Why run any harder, right? So what we tried to do in our elite field is make sure that we have enough people at the front of the pack that if one person falls out, there's still a pack running, right? And we try really hard to make sure that the times on our course, and I think this weekend's weather is shaping up really well. So all those attributes that I just listed, the weather has to be perfect, the wind has to be the right direction, the humidity has to be correct. I think we have a really good weather day. I think the competition level is really going to be up there. We have on the men's side somebody who has a seed time of 2:17, which is 2 minutes faster than our course record. You need to run a 2:18 to qualify for the Olympic trials. So I think if they run to their capability, I think our course supports it. We have the right elevation changes, we have the right competition, and I think we're going to see some really good times this year.
Is the goal always to have a fast course, is to try to get people to be as fast as possible, or are there some people who want to have a challenging course that maybe pushes people to maybe they're not the fastest time, but it's the hardest earned time? Is that a real thing?
I don't think people seek hard. I think they seek experience. What I mean by that is, let's take a look at Cincinnati Flying Pig. That's in a couple of weeks coming up. That's a hard course. They have a lot of hills. But what they do is they integrate cheer stations and pigs and all these different elements so that while it's hard, you're not thinking about how hard it is. You're just having a good time, right? So our approach is a little bit different because we don't have that hard complexity thing that we have to hide. Right, and I think when you get into a hard course, you have to somehow mask it, through whether it be your pace teams or spirit stations or strategically placed water stops, so that you're masking like, oh my God, this hill is really long. How do you break that up for somebody so they're not getting in their head?
Yeah, Garmin race that's coming up in September. How just flatly, like, how big of a deal is this for the racing community?
I think this is huge for Toledo. So kind of some of the backstory, how do we get to where we are with Garmin?
Yeah.
Number one, Garmin decided well before they spoke to us, they're doing a marathon series. They're doing one in the fall of 25, and they had 20 cities to choose from. They came to town, we met with them, and through those conversations and the community support that we brought from the leadership level, Mayor Wade Kapscavish and down, I think is really what won them over in terms of if you're shopping for a city, who's going to roll out the red carpet and be accommodating? Who has the race management team in place to be able to execute all this in a 5-month time period? And then also, who has the running community in terms of participants who want to run it, right? And I think we check all those boxes really well. And the response has been quite overwhelming. The registration has only been open for a week and a half, and we have almost 500 people signed up already for that. It's going to be a half marathon, a marathon, a 5K, and a 10K. All 4 distances, all on the same day, anchored here in downtown Toledo. The design of the course really is going to highlight pretty much every major aspect of what you think about of Northwest Ohio and downtown Toledo as that. Downtown Toledo has really been revitalized. We recently hosted Solheim Cup, right? Downtown was kind of the headquarters for that. Jeep Fest happens every year because of what downtown can do. We had a concert series last year because of what downtown can do, and now we're hosting the launch of Garmin's, basically their national tour is going to be starting here because of what downtown Toledo is doing. So when you take downtown Toledo out of it, what else do we have to get 26 miles? The Metro Park system. So Glass City Metro Park is going to be involved in this. The Metro Parks have rolled out the red carpet for them. Go on down the line, we have a huge mural on the river. Yeah. We're running by the mural. We're going past Hollywood Casino. We're going into Rossford. They embraced it. Perrysburg Township and Perrysburg City, they've embraced it. Across the river into Maumee, spoke with the chief of police in Maumee. They've embraced it. Going up the river through River Road, what's next really on the highlight list is the Toledo Zoo. So this will be the first race outside of Toledo's Zoo's 5K that they do that runs through the zoo, right? So that's kind of breaking news right here is that we have a marathon running through the zoo at mile 23. It's going to be pretty incredible. Yeah. And then we have a straight finish right downtown to finish at Jefferson and Summit.
Is this the most ambitious course in the history of Toledo racing? Is it how do you think it compares?
Yeah, I don't think. No, a lot of it's going to be reminiscent of the old Glass City Marathon course when it was hosted downtown from 1991 to 2009. Elements of that. But the other things we try to really incorporate is the Toledo Museum, the Old West End, the downtown, the Glass City Metro Park, and then also the Toledo Zoo. So in terms of the footprint that way, it really is going to highlight every aspect of downtown Toledo and the surrounding communities. Is it ambitious? I don't think so. I think Lance said this from Destination Toledo, that a lot of times we are prepared to do it, and we might be considering punching above our weight class, right? But the only reason we can do this is because they all came to the table with a yes attitude.
Yeah. Do we think more people than Glass City Marathon, 7,000 for your guys' race?
Yeah. I think the appropriate number is going to be 10,000 for this. Okay. And the reason why is fall marathons are easier to train for. And I think because what Garmin's marketing plan is looking like, we can draw a more regional crowd. We have a couple other things really in our favor. The Detroit Marathon's already sold out. There's a demand for people running fall marathons. We just filled a void.
With a race like this, what do you think this does for the local economy? I mean, I know you probably know the numbers pretty well, what it does for the local. What do you think a race like Garmin does?
Yeah, so our initial estimations is $5 million impact. When we toured all the different areas of what can we do impact-wise and how do we really embrace Toledo, because one of the initiatives that Garmin brought to the table is, while this is a Garmin event, it's really a community event supporting Garmin, right? We don't want this, big company coming into town saying, here's how we're going to do things. That's not the case at all. So the economic impact is going to be fantastic. The lodging, the dining, the hotels, and all that stuff is really going to have the opportunity to shine in this case.
Yeah, Toledo, it just seems to be, like you said earlier, this national caliber event. Is Toledo becoming a well-known globally a race city the way that maybe like Boston or Berlin, these cities are known for racing?
I don't think we'll ever get to a world major. I think what we're going to be recognized is kind of who we are. Rewind back to 2008 when I was voluntold to be a race director. We kind of put together a couple of bullet points. And one of them is understand who you are. We're not an NFL city. We're not a state capital. Understanding that we are truly a tier 2 city, how do you embrace that, right? How do you drive people to a city like this? It's through our hospitality, right? Just good customer service. Everything we do, we want it to be, perfection, and deliver a really good product.
Yeah. All right. Clint McCormick, Dave's running Glass City Marathon coming up this weekend. It's going to be big. That's going to do it for this episode of Chasing the Game. Be sure to check out our other episodes on WTOL 11 Plus app. You can also check us out on YouTube and on Spotify. We'll see you guys next time.